Hey guys, King of Charms here to be your judge, your jury, and your analyst. And today I bring to you my top, well, it's not my top teams. It's my early meta-analysis for the Element Cup. I decided to do this one really early because there's nothing really super fancy. I really hope y'all don't end up trading life and limb to get a Salandit for this cup or building one for it. It's a very, very mean cup. Grass, fire, water, grass, minus 500. But Salandit essentially runs this cup to oblivion. It's a lot like Aerodactyl in the Flying Cup. But the difference is that Salandit is behind a huge paywall. Or not a huge paywall, but a huge time wall. Because you can only get it in 12k eggs. So it's very mean. Yeah, they only drop from Rocket Leaders. So yay, high barrier to entry, right? But regardless, Element Cup is very stale. Very RPS-y, fast move damage. So that's why I decided to do it really, really early. Because I didn't want to look at this team or look at the top teams when I put it together again. Just give you an idea so you can decide whether you want to play this cup or not. But before we get started, as usual, this is my therapist mental health tip of the day. So, a lot of y'all voted for Pokemon Go PvP, mental illness and its relation to it, and also mental health. As a therapist, as a practicing marriage family therapist and practicing professional clinical counselor, Pokemon Go PvP has a lot of mental illness / negative mental health things to bring to your life, and I will be showcasing and relating to a lot of it because I actually work in those fields a lot, at least with working as a school therapist. The pandemic ravaged the world, and this is the first year that kids are back in school, which means me and the other school therapists that are out there around the world have to deal with a whole lot of chaos. That includes depression, anxiety, and a whole bunch of other things. When it relates to Pokemon Go, there's a dime a dozen and plenty of things I can relate to or just directly apply to Pokemon Go PvP in general. As someone that's played it for years, someone that's been here since its inception, the dawn of time of when it started to get popular. I wasn't here like in the first year itself, but definitely when Melee Mega and all those things, I was definitely around. So I can, and I'm a therapist, so I can actually give you ethical mental health, psychoeducation advice as a practicing clinician, unlike 99.9% of other people, which that's pretty much what it is. 99.9% of the world isn't qualified to give or ethical medical advice. This is why you see a lot of people saying, oh, this isn't medical advice from a doctor, speak to a professional, because they have to do that. Otherwise, you could sue them in like 5 seconds or in a heartbeat because they aren't professionals to begin with. Advocates are good, but if you're not a professional, it's what it is. So, with that being said, my mental health tip of the day is going to be, there's going to be a lot of stuff going on there, but also I'm going to be talking a lot with modalities and techniques. There's a lot of psychoeducation, a lot of techniques you can go out there that I can apply and present in this content I'm about to bring you, that I can give you tools for coping mechanisms for Pokemon Go PvP to help you deal with this sort of things. Anxiety, depression, etc. There's a lot of things. It's called psychoed. It's usually what's called education, get psychoeducation, but it's called psychotherapy. So with that, we have something called psychoeducation. So I'm going to do a lot of psychoeducation, but yes, there's a lot of tools out there for coping mechanisms, and other things to help you with stuff with Pokemon Go PvP. Whether it be the anxiety of battling an RPS or the raging and mauldingness of Go Battle League pissing you off because it malfunctions, which happens a lot. There's a lot of tools out there and a lot of education that will help you. So I'm going to be doing a lot of that, and one of those, and I'm working on it soon because I'm trying to put this together, but a lot of it, one of the things I'm looking forward to, the first one is anxiety and exposure therapy. Long story short, if you are exposed to your anxiety, you figure out later that you don't actually have to fear it, and you can find out that you don't have to fear other things. So you can essentially, anxiety is treatable. There is no long-term mental illness or non-curable mental illness as far as I know when it comes to anxiety. So anxiety is completely, very treatable. There's probably one out there, but it's probably like unspecified. If it would be an unspecified anxiety, that's probably one of it. But other than that, most of them are, like I mentioned, there is an anxiety disorder out there that's not treatable and is permanent as far as I know. Unless it co-occurs with something that's permanent. So there you go. But yes. But take care of yourselves. Look out for that content soon. Hopefully y'all are going to enjoy it. And this is my early meta-analysis for the Element Cup. And let's get started. Alright, so here's the overall standings of the Element Cup. I figured before these rankings came out that Salandit might actually make the rankings for the fact that it does so much damage. But yes, overall, Salandit, if you are lucky enough to hatch one, it doesn't even have to be female or male. Well, actually, it doesn't have to be female, so you don't need a Slazzle. But Salandit's actually the #1 pick overall. For the funny part that it can wipe out a lot of meta picks just because of the fact it does so much damage. It's spammy, and with Poison Fang, it is literally your opponent's worst nightmare if they don't have a counter to it, because Poison Jab and Poison Fang it's like a machine gun, okay? And it just destroys and pressures your opponent's shields to oblivion. And because of Salandit, it's basically it's insanely dangerous to run a Cottony, especially if you do encounter one. Cottony, it was really good in the LMA Cup before Salandit came out, but Salandit can absolutely wipe out Cottony. If you take a look at the Sims, Salandit absolutely just obliterates Cottony. Cottony will never get to a move. You can farm it down completely if you want to, or you could fire the Poison Fang you want to. You don't have to fire a move. Go to none. You could actually just fire. You could literally just straight, and it will never actually get to a C-bomb. You could literally just farm it down. That's how dangerous Salandit is. And if you do happen to see a lot of them running around in this cup, it is the #1 overall. Good in all positions. It's a beast. I don't have one yet because I wasn't lucky enough to hatch any during my 10K eggs, during community days, and I'm not going to try that hard to get one. But if you do have one, you're in luck because it's really that good. Other than that, things like Ducklet, Chinchou, Bulbasaur with Vine Whip, Seed Bomb, Sludge Bomb are really good. And Slowpoke. The original Slowpoke version actually does really well as in this cup too. And you kind of want one if you do have a -500 Slowpoke, even if it just has confusion, because it's Salandit's worst nightmare. You need something that counters Salandit in your team or has a good chance against it. Salandit works well against it, so does Seal. So the Seal can take on... In the 1 shield, it's not great against Salandit. However, in the 2 shield, it's not great either. So, you can try, but Seal's usually very... What I was trying to say here is, it's not good. Even though Seal is a super tank in the Little Cup, -500, it still gets absolutely annihilated because look how many of these it can literally just get off. All these Poison Fangs. That's why it's such a beast. It's such a beast. So, reason Salandit's so good is because other than Slowpoke, it basically wipes out the top 10 or 11. You will all lose to Salandit, which is why you need a Salandit counter in your team, because of the fact that Execute also beats Salandit. So I would say, like, yeah, literally out of the top 10, the only ones that beat this are Confusion users. That's why Salandit is so good. You want to be super overpowered in the Element Cup? Have a Salandit. Put it anywhere in the team, and it's absolutely destructive. But overall, if you don't have one, don't sweat about it. It's things from the previous Little Cup like Seal, Cottony, still is a beast, Wooper, etc. are still very, very good. And may I interest you in Wooper? So, if you're gonna whoop your opponent to death, Wooper is an absolute monster against Salandit. In all Seal, because it does resist the Poison Fangs and Poison Jabs, it will absolutely destroy it. So Wooper's a great option if you want to take out Salandit. If you don't want to put Confusion using your team, because Wooper actually functions great as a safe switch or in all positions, as long as it's not lined up against Grass type. Because you know what happens when Grass goes against Wooper, those Vine Whips or whatever Grass type move will be doing double super effective damage, so be very careful. Alright, the rest of these analyses are going to go pretty quickly, obviously, as we mentioned before, and as we just analyzed, if your Salandit is on fire, you know, like Rengoku from Demon Slayer, well, actually, that's relative. You got Rengoku from Demon Slayer, you got, like, the spider thing from this, like, Season 1. If you haven't watched Demon Slayer yet, please watch it. I will not spoil nothing for you, but yes, Rengoku, man. Love that dude. Anyways, Salandit, yes, is going to be #1 in all positions. Normally, if you want the best lead, it's Salandit. Salandit in the lead, cover it with 2 back row picks that cover its weaknesses, i.e. Confusion users for the most part, or Wooper, and you're gonna do wonderful in this cup. A lot of leads from before still work. If you didn't play Element Cup before, Ducklet, Wooper, Chinchou was actually beastly. Chinchou was really, really good for the fact it was able to take out Ducklet, and it was also taking out a lot of water types. So outside of that, but then if you see the grass types, as you see here, for grass types, it's very, very dangerous for you to run grass types outside of Confusion movers like Execute. Grass really fell off the face of the planet here just because of the fact that Salandit is out there. Now, I'm not saying a lot of them are going to be out there, but you also have Scarelp. Scarelp does decently good against a lot of grass types just because of Sludge Bomb and Aqua Tail. And yes, it can actually be Cottonee as well. So it does decent. The reason I say decent is because you can still lose against things like Chikorita and, of course, get outpaced because Water Gun is slow. But generally for leads, you have Salandit, use it. You have things like Wooper, Ducklet, Execute. Basically, pick the top 10 on this list and run with it. I highly recommend, again, that you do have a Salandit counter, however. If you do have Salandit, pop into the lead and watch your W's rise like no tomorrow. Alright, as far as save switches goes, use Salandit. Use Salandit. No, seriously, just use Salandit. Salandit, if you have it in a safe switch position, Salandit is also very powerful. If you don't want to run Salandit in the lead, guess what? You could use it as a safe switch as well. If they have a Confusion user in the back, though, you're pretty much dead. So I wouldn't use it as a switch. Again, I would use Salandit in the lead, and then you can go ahead and do 2 coverage Pokemon in the back. So that way you can keep Salandit away from the Confusion users, or you could just make a whole team that counters Salandit. I don't foresee a lot of them coming around, but again, the reason why it's super viable is because you don't need the female one for Salazzle. You can run a minus 500 CP Salandit with Poison Fang, and it will absolutely run through this cup like Swiss cheese, given your opponent does not have a Confusion counter. Other viable safe switches are Ducklet, Chikorita, and Vulpix. These were the big 3 from before. Notice how Salandit just overtakes it in the lead. Ducklet is very good as a safe switch as well. In the 1 shield, you can actually beat Salandit, but in the 2s, it's not great. So your best bet is to safe switch in a Ducklet, Bubble Beam down Salandit, and then try to farm down Salandit and throw all the energy with whatever you have in the back, and hopefully you can come out with a dub. Vulpix with Quick Attack is the preferred moveset here. As you see, the reason why you want to use Quick Attack is solely because of Salandit. Body Slam and Fire Weather Ball will fire very quickly. However, if you do encounter Salandit, Vulpix will have a problem just because Ember is resisted, which is why you want to use Quick Attack. As far as the 2 shield scenarios, in the 1 shield, yes, you do beat it, but in the 2s, you will lose because Salandit will be able to Poison Fang you to death. So keep that in mind. You can take it to the 1 shield and then have Salandit die to its 1 shield counters, but 9 times out of 10, that Salandit will probably have a whole bunch of energy. You do not want to mess with something like a Salandit with a bazillion energy or an energy lead. Other viable safe switches are also Confusion users. As you see here, you have you have Execute, and you also have Slowpoke. So you can use those as safe switches as well. But generally, top 10, Ducklet, Chikorita, and Vulpix still function as very good viable safe switches. Because this is Fire, Water, Grass, and it's a very fast damage RPS type of meta, you can, especially with Salandit out here, not too many safe switches will hold a lot of weight. You could safe switch in, hopefully you can pop some shields, but you're also prone to getting farmed down, and then Salandit or whatever comes into you can absolutely wreck your back row with a huge energy lead, which is why I use the term bazillion energy a lot, because that's what it is. But yes, as far as safe switches goes, 1 through 10 will usually work. I would have used Chespin, but generally, well, okay, scratch that. Don't use Chespin. 1 through 9. So 1 through 9 in this list will work very well for you. However, most of you probably don't have a Salandit. I definitely recommend you have 2 counters. Wooper can also work as a safe switch as well. Wooper can also work very well outside of getting locked into a grass type, but that's just the nature of the Element Cup. You have to safe switch into 1 typing, and they do have the other typing. The other 2, you're probably going to be a lot of trouble to begin with, just because of the rock, paper, scissor concept and nature of Pokemon Go PvP and Go Battle League. And last but not least, we have the closer. When shields are down, everything goes to town. Well, Ducklet in specific. If you played the previous Element Cup, Ducklet was actually the #1 closer from before because Bubble Beam and Brave Bird actually ends your opponent's life. With Brave Bird, you could take out most of things, even Salandit. You can one-shot a Salandit. And guess what? Salandit is also in the closer. Very good against most typings. If it does have a ton of energy, you can Poison Fang the holy crap out of your opponent to death, given they don't have something like a Wooper, which actually resists your Poison Jab / Poison Fangs. Tortuga, I forgot to mention, might have some play as well, just because Tortuga is able to get the body slams, and it does have Water Gun. Can serve as a Salandit counter, however, because that rock typing, you must be careful about Chikoritas, because it can be very dangerous. Or any Vine Whip / Scratch types in general. Chinchou is also an option. It used to be very powerful for the Element Cup. It's still powerful to this day. It can still take out things like Salandit, Skrelp, etc. Of course, prone to grass types because water is weak to grass. And Chinchou is essentially walled against most of the grass typings because electric and water type attacks are resisted by grass types. So, with that being said, for your closer, you like to have Salandit, or you could have you have Ducklet or Chinchou. My opinion, top 3 is going to work the most to you as far as closes go. These 3 will do very, very heavy damage and give you a lot of play by absolutely destroying your opponent. You can also use Whooper and Poliwag. I like Poliwag and Whooper, but I like the Body Slam capabilities of Whooper or Poliwag. The Shadow versions, you can use the regular one. You don't really use the Shadow version. Shadow is just because of damage, which is why they rank higher, because their DPS output, which is, again, much why more damage equals higher rank. That's pretty much it. But you could use the regular Poliwag, or you could use Whooper. I definitely recommend Whooper because you probably already have one built for the Little Cup. So as far as closes go, again, top 3 right here, or you can go with I definitely would go with Whooper or Poliwag just because of Body Slam and Mud Bomb for that coverage. Other than that, Slowpoke works as well. Anything in the top 10 would probably give you a good idea, but be very careful with water and ground types or water rock types like Tortuga, because you will be double weak to grass. So just be very mindful of that. And that's GG's. I didn't go. This cup isn't. It's not super analytical. This cup is very high damage RPS-y, and you got the little thing called Salandit that's absolutely going to tear the hole through the meta. You don't even need a second move one. One will do. You don't need a double move one. As long as it has Poison Fang and Poison Jab, you're good. So that is the Element Cup. I don't know why Niantic would release Salandit, especially in the way it is, where it's so broken behind rocket radars. But it's what it is, because you know, barrier to entry, right? Those things don't exist. It doesn't matter, but it's the FOMO concept. Make an extremely rare mon, or if you have it, you can absolutely run through this cup like Swiss cheese. Or you're going to be the one getting Swiss cheese because their Salandit has a positive matchup against a lot of what you have. But otherwise, if you would like to skip this cup, this is probably the cup you want to skip. Minus 500 CP, Salandit running down, probably don't want to do it. I won't be doing a lot of heavy element cup stuff once it runs around. That's why I'm doing this analysis early. I'll probably be doing some things, or like a kill Salandit team is basically what I'm going to do. But yes, that's going to be Go Battle League for a week, so sadly. However, I do hope you enjoy the Element Cup. If you do have Salandit, you have a huge advantage. Or you can make a whole, you're going to be like me, kill Salandit team. Literal kill Salandit team. Either way, I hope you're enjoying this season. Or you're pretty much done with it and just waiting for it to get it over with like I am. Because we literally have like another month before the next season rolls over. Anyways, do me a huge favor. Please like and subscribe. It's totally free. You can easily subscribe by using that little box at the bottom right there. Also, please like and comment for, again, like, subscribe, and also comment for the YouTube algorithm. Stuffle Squad, you know what to do. Y'all are MVPs. I appreciate y'all. Stuffle Squad unite, and Stuffle Squad do your thing. I also stream on Twitch on Monday, Tuesday, Saturday, Sunday, 6:30 to 7:30 is when I'll usually start. I usually do a variety of things. I'll definitely go back to PvP once the new season rolls around. Then I'll do my sets again. Even then, I probably won't stress as much as I usually do. Actually, I don't stress when it comes to Go Battle League at all. The only thing I really don't. Let's Go Battle League. I've made Legend multiple times. I made a lot of cool teams. I don't care about the leaderboard because I'm not willing to sit in a queue for 40 minutes at a time. I got better things to do. I'm a therapist. So, with that being said, regardless of however you're playing this season, good luck on your Go Battle League sets, and I will see y'all on the next video.
Ciao!